I used to be stuck in a corporate career that I did not enjoy at all. I would literally gasp for air just by climbing one flight of stairs. And now I'm living my dream life where I run my own business with full-time flexibility, working with women across the world. I am in the fittest shape of my life. I'm training for a 10K race right now, and I even 12x by business sales in just 1 month. All because I dialed in my morning routine with scientifically backed ways to rewire my brain and my subconscious mind to make my goals inevitable. And in this video, I'll be sharing everything I learned along the way so you can recreate it for yourself too. And by the way, if you don't know me yet, my name is Cindy, and on this channel, I'll be sharing science-backed tools for manifestation, personal development, and identity uplevel. So if you are an ambitious girly who wants to achieve every single one of your goals while living in your soft girl era, be sure to hit subscribe, and I cannot wait to connect with you. So before I dive into what I do for my morning manifestation routine, I want to talk about what I don't do. And what I don't do are stuff that you typically find in the classic morning routine videos, like the 5 a.m. clubs, the cold plunges, the cold showers, or the going straight into an intense workout kind of situation. That is not for me. And I want to share this because you gotta find what works for you. The best routine is the one that you can stick with and is conducive to who you are as a person. So let me give you an example. I am someone who is the most creative at night. Like I've tried to work at different time of the day, and I find myself being the most creative around the 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. mark. And this is where I get my best content out. And so if I wake up at 5 a.m. just because a guru told me to do so, then I'll effectively put myself in heavy sleep deprivation with tons of sleep debt, which is just not good for a human being. And so I want you to understand that in order to create the most effective morning routine for you, you need to find one that allows you to show up as a person who achieved that manifestation. Because when you can get this identity down, when you can show up as the most confident, empowered, healthy, sharp, focused version of you, this is when you're going to naturally take the right action, make the right decision, and think like the person who gets the manifestation, and therefore making that manifestation inevitable for you. And by the way, I have a whole video around building that identity so that you can rebrand your life in its entirety. So be sure to check that out after this video. But for now, let's talk about my manifestation protocol. So my manifestation protocol is actually pretty simple. I like to keep things really streamlined. And the very first step is the classic first step of deciding what your manifestation is. Whether you have a really specific example in mind or you just want to manifest a general feeling. And here's the thing, right? Manifestation is pretty simple. When you decide on a goal or a manifestation, the next step is essentially just to take the action until that goal manifests into reality. And that's why it's called manifestation. But this is where most people go wrong because they have a goal in mind and they kind of know what action to take, even if it's not super clear. But the problem is they are just bogged down by tons of limiting beliefs, fears, insecurities, uncertainty that prevents them from actually taking the action required to manifest their manifestation, which is why the next step to my manifestation protocol is to deprogram any resistance that comes between you and your manifestation. And this is where the classic conversation around limiting beliefs comes up. So if you've read any manifestation books, videos, YouTube speakers, etc., you might have heard of this concept before, but if you haven't, these are essentially beliefs that prevent you from going after your goals or beliefs that are not serving you. So for example, if you want to make more money in your business, but you're thinking that like there is a restriction of money out there, or like my clients can't afford my service, that is a belief that is not helpful for you. Because why would you want to believe that your clients can't afford your service or they don't want your service, right? Like that just doesn't make sense. But here's a nuance that I want you to be so clear on. I want you to not just focus on the limiting beliefs. In fact, I don't want you to focus on finding a limiting belief at all. Instead, I want you to be aware and build mindfulness and awareness around any emotional charge that comes up within you. And then find the limiting beliefs that are causing this emotional charge. And the reason why I want to make this step extra clear is because it can be really easy to fall down a rabbit hole trying to find every single limiting beliefs out there that are preventing us from achieving our goal. And subconsciously, that in itself is a form of self-sabotage. Because if you're so busy looking for every single limiting belief under the sun, then you are not taking the action required to go after your manifestation. And this is where you see, a lot of multimillionaires out there with horrendous money mindset, with a lot of limiting beliefs around money. And yet they have all this wealth because they don't let their limiting belief affect them emotionally. Because when a limiting belief is affecting you emotionally, this is where it starts affecting the actions you take, causing you to fall into reactive mode and therefore not manifesting your manifestation. Let me give you a couple examples as to what kind of scenario would warrant a search for the limiting belief. So let's say you are a business owner who is feeling an intense pressure around money lately. You're feeling like money is hard to come by. And so you started taking the client that is clearly a red flag, that is clearly not a great person, just for a measly paycheck. Now, in this scenario, you can see how the intense pressure around money is driving you to take an action that you otherwise wouldn't have if you don't have that feeling or emotion, right? So another example could look like, let's say you are in the market and you're looking for your dream partner, and you are feeling so tired of being single and you just desperately want to be in love and want to be with the partner of your dreams. And that keeps you in a feeling of almost desperation, checking your phone every 2 minutes just to make sure you haven't missed a text from the latest person you dated. So in both these scenarios, the emotions are driving an action. It's leading to a reaction. And when you continuously take action from this place, you are going to put yourself in a space where you're going to repel your manifestation just because the actions you're taking are leading you in a different outcome. So now that we have deprogrammed our limiting beliefs, we are now essentially a blank slate, which is the most perfect time to reinstall beliefs that are actually helpful. And this is where we want to be sure to install beliefs that are keeping us in our most empowered state so that we can take action with confidence, right? Because if you think about it, when you have a goal in mind and you know what actions are required for you to go after it, most people still fall off the wagon, not because the action itself is difficult or it's extremely hard to take or it's impossible, but because they have mental drama going on 24/7. So these mental dramas are essentially fueled by thoughts that are not helping them, which we have deprogrammed in the last stage. But this could look like knowing that you have to go to the gym, but negotiating with yourself for like half an hour before that, feeling like, oh, I'm drained, I don't want to go, like, should I go? But I'm kind of aching a little bit. So like, these are the little things that drains your energy, whether you know it or not, right? These drains your mental energy, which adds to the mental drama and creating a general sense of overwhelm around the actions required to go after your goal. So this is why it's so important to have empowered, grounded belief that keeps you moving. So I'm going to give you 3 categories to think about. And for each of these 3 categories below, I want you to think about like, what are the most helpful beliefs that you can believe about your goal and start reinstalling them. So the first category you want to think about are the general high level concept around your goal. So like, let's say your goal is to manifest more money. In this case, it would be pretty helpful to think about the fact that there is an abundance of money out there for you to go after, that there are trillions of dollars circulating around you at any given moment. Be in that abundant state, right? So for example, as well, like if your goal is to manifest a dream partner, this could look like having the belief that there are tons of incredible partners out there for you, and that love is normal, love is natural, it is inevitable for you to find your dream partner. So that is the first category, the general overview. The second category that I want you to think about are beliefs in relation to who you are, who you have to be in order to go after that goal. So let's say you want to manifest your dream body. Now, a belief that would be really helpful here would be like, well, I am just someone who enjoys a good challenge, because you know that there are going to be days where you just don't want to go to the gym, or there might even be weeks where you just don't want to, look after your diet and eat nourishing and healthy food. So in this case, having the belief that like, hey, I'm someone who thrives on a challenge, who finds challenges satisfying. This helps you find satisfaction and joy within the process itself. Like dragging yourself to the gym, that is a challenge that you overcome. So when you arrive in the gym, this gives you the dopamine hit of like, hey, I did it. I am someone who enjoys a challenge. Now, this third category that I'm about to tell you about is something that's not talked about a lot in the space, but it is one of the most important category you could possibly have in your life. And that is your belief about other people. Because the truth is, we live in a highly interconnected world where a lot of the results are dependent on the actions of other people. And so it is really important to build that trust and faith in people outside of you. And so let's say, for example, right, you're aiming for a career promotion. Now, in this case, it would be kind of helpful to trust that your manager will always promote the most capable person, as opposed to that person who plays the office politics game well, right? Because believing the latter is just not going to be helpful for you at all unless you're a pro at playing the office politics. Now, let's say you are aiming for, you're aiming for a certain fitness goal, but you're kind of clueless about it. Like you're new to the gym, for example, and you want to manifest your dream body. Now, in this case, it would be super helpful to believe that like other people wants to help you, other people wants to cheer me on. Because if you walk in with the general belief of like, people are just going to judge me, how likely are you going to be showing up consistently? Right? And if you bump into a machine that you're not sure about, you are less likely to ask for help if you believe that people are judging you, right? So that would be, the third belief, the third category to think about it. So now that you understand the 3-step manifestation protocol, let's talk about putting it into practice. So the very first thing I do in the morning when I wake up, like literally the second I wake up, I express gratitude. So this could sound like I'm grateful for a good night's sleep. I'm grateful to be waking up in this warm, cozy bed. And the reason why I do this is because we want to take advantage of this 30-minute window. 30-minute window right after you wake up. This is where your brain is in the theta brainwave state. And this brainwave state is the most susceptible to suggestion. It is like the gateway to your subconscious. It opens up, it's the most permeable, and so any beliefs you instill into your brain in this state is most likely to be absorbed and taken up. And so we want to make sure that we're immediately installing the identity of someone who is grateful, because gratitude is the fastest way to manifest. So the next thing I do is to do a quick body scan. So this is where I would ask myself the question, what do I need right now? Do I need to deprogram any resistance that I have, or do I need to reinstall a new empowering belief that reinforces my manifestation? And you would know this by feeling into your body. So let's say your body is feeling kind of heavy, kind of anxious today, or your mind is racing. Maybe you know what you're worried about. Maybe you just feel this general feeling of dread, like the other shoe is about to drop. This is where I would go into deprogramming mode. And I'll tell you how to do that in a bit. But if you're feeling good, you're feeling light, you're feeling happy, you're feeling grateful, then I would go straight into reinstalling new beliefs to like take advantage of this momentum and compound it and build it and amplify this momentum. So you go into your day in this like beautiful high frequency. So let's say you are feeling kind of heavy today and you don't really know what is going on. This is where we want to go straight into the deprogramming workflow. And this is essentially the nervous system regulation work I talk about a lot in my entire channel. So nervous system regulation is essentially a process that helps your body get back into the state of being calm, safe, grounded, not necessarily a super positive emotion or a super negative emotion, just a general sense of stability and peace that allows you to take action from a place of like grounded expansion, as opposed to like nervous kind of energy, nervous sense of urgency or scarcity, etc. I have two of my favorite ways to regulate my nervous system. And typically, I would choose it depending on, again, what I'm feeling that day. So if I feel a lot of mental chatter, like I know what I am sort of stressed about, if I can name the block, I would take myself into YouTube and look for a specific EFT video around it. So like, let's say I am feeling stressed because my video blew up and I'm really afraid of getting troll comments, right? So this is where I would start searching like EFT tapping for, the fear of being seen, fear of visibility, fear of judgment even. So this is what I would do if I see that mental chatter. But if it's more of something that I feel in my body, like I feel a sense of dread and heaviness and urgency and scarcity in my body, and I can't really pinpoint why I feel that way, I would take myself into a breathwork flow. Again, go on YouTube and look for a breathwork flow for anxiety, for nervous system regulation, and just breathe through the body sensation and release it on a somatic level. In terms of reinstalling positive grounding belief into your system, this is where you want to start thinking about, like, how can I show my subconscious mind that what I want is normal, is real, it is in front of me right now, because your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is real or what is imagined. So the more real it feels, when your subconscious believes that your manifestation is here right now, like you are someone who is making $1 million a year right now, if your subconscious believes that, it is going to work for you over time on autopilot to make that a reality. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into that in this video because I have an entire video right here showing you exactly how to visualize and alternative methods to visualization if visualizing is not for you, so that you can train your brain, rewire your entire subconscious to expect your manifestation, and so it will go after it for you. And by the way, this morning manifestation routine can take anywhere in between 15 minutes to 3 hours. And it all depends on how much time you have and how much time you would like to dedicate into the routine. So please make sure that you are crafting and sort of shaping this routine in a way that fits into your lifestyle so you can be super consistent around it. Because remember, consistency is always key. And don't feel like you're not reaping the full benefit just because you've only got 5 minutes to spare versus someone who's got 3 hours to spare. 5 minutes in itself can be so freaking powerful, especially if you do it throughout your day, right? So the visualization, the breath work, the EFT, you can do them throughout the day. And the more often you do them, the faster your system regulate and expect your manifestation, the faster your manifestation arrive. So if you found this video helpful, as usual, please like, comment, subscribe, and I cannot wait to create more videos like this for you guys.